Okay, hi everyone, I am back with your 223 video. This one is titled, Is There a Relationship, Area and Perimeter? Follow along as I read the introduction. You now learned a lot about area, the number of square units that are needed to cover a shape, completely without gaps or overlaps, and perimeter, the sum of the lengths of the sides of a shape. If a shape has a particular area, will its perimeter be the same as any other shape with the same area? If you change the area of a shape, does perimeter change? Today you will use base 10 blocks to investigate the relationship between area and perimeter. So looking at 239, you will need base 10 blocks. So I have included base 10 blocks in your resource pages. Okay, these are your base 10 blocks, page 2, and this is your other page. Okay, and you have individual ones at the bottom there. You will need to pause the video and cut these out. Do not cut each individual square out here. Okay, this is a whole big square. Down here at the bottom of page 1, you do want to cut them out individually. And on page 2, you want to cut them in long lines. Okay, so pause the video and go ahead and do that. Okay, if you're back with me, that means your base 10 blocks are cut out, which is great because you will need them for 239. So looking at 239, it says your teacher will give your team a set of base 10 blocks. For the purposes of this lesson, only the top face of the base 10 blocks will be considered as part of the shape. Be sure to use the blocks in a way that all team members can see and touch them. So you are going to answer part A that says there are 3 kinds of blocks. Find one of each kind of block and trace it on its sides of your paper. So you're going to trace it right there. If you run out of room, use notebook paper. Okay, you know that. B says the side length of the smallest block is 1 centimeter. On your paper, mark the lengths of the side of all 3 blocks. So you're going to do that. And then C says find the area and perimeter of each of the 3 blocks. Indicate the correct units of measurement. So you're going to go ahead, pause the video, and you are going to answer parts A, B, and C. Okay, if you're back with me, that's great. We are going to go over those when I see you next in class because it's kind of hard to go over that in person, or not in person. So we're going to go over that during class. And then D says, what is the combined area of the blocks drawn at right? So I want you to try that as well. So go ahead and pause the video and answer part D. Okay, if you're back with me, we are on part E. The blocks are named by their area. So the block that has an area of 100 centimeters is called a 100 block. The block that is 1 centimeter squared in area is called a 1 block. Which blocks could be used to represent an area of 127 centimeters squared? With your team, find at least 2 ways to build 127 centimeters squared. So go ahead and pause the video, and I would like you to try 2 ways to build 127 centimeters squared. Okay, if you're back with me, we're going to actually move on. So we're going to skip part F, and we're going to look at problem 240. So 240 says, Jay arranged a 100 block, or it's called title, changing the area, I'm sorry. Jay arranged a 100 block and a 1 block as shown at right. What is the area of Jay's shape? What is the perimeter? Explain how you know. Well, for our area, okay, you want to do the insides. Perimeter is the outside. So go ahead and pause the video and attempt this problem, and then we will go over it. Okay, if you're back with me, that means that you have tried to answer this question. So the area is the insides. So we know that we have a 100 block and a 1 block. So if I wanted to do the area, we would just be adding those 2 blocks. The 100 plus 1, which gives us the area of 101. And remember, these are measured in centimeters squared. If I wanted to do the perimeter, that's the outside. So we know this is 10, this is 10, because 10 times 10 would give you 100 on the inside. 10 1, 1, 1. And if this overlaps over here, we know this whole side is 10, but we have to subtract that 1 where it overlaps. So 10 minus 1 is 9. So our perimeter, we have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 9 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So now let's simplify. 20 plus 19 plus, and we're going to do all these together, 3. 20 plus 19 is 39 plus 3. 39 plus 3 is 42. So our perimeter would equal 42 centimeters. Part B says, Jay added another 1 block to his shape as shown at right. Did the area of his shape change? Did the perimeter change? Go ahead and pause the video and try. Okay, if you are back with me, that means you attempted this problem. Well, let's look at the area. Remember, the area is just the inside of the blocks. So we have a 100 block plus the 1 block that we had in part A plus another 1 block. So that would be 102 centimeters squared for the area. So did that change? Well, let's look. Yeah, it did. Originally, we were at 101 centimeters squared. Now we're at 102 centimeters squared. So we're going to say that the area did change. But now it asks us about the perimeter, which I'm just going to abbreviate as P. Well, again, we know that this is 10 plus 10 plus 10, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, instead of just having 1 overlap, we have 2. So if we know this side length is 10, it would be 10 minus 2, which is going to give us 8. So now if we add 10 plus 10 plus 10, so 10, 10, 10, plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 8. 10 plus 10 is 20. Plus 11 plus 2 plus 9. So 20 plus 11 is 31 plus 9. 2 plus 9, which is 11. 31 plus 11 is 42. So our perimeter would be 42 centimeters. So now let's go back and look. Did our perimeter change from part A to part B? We have 42 centimeters and 42 centimeters. So no, the perimeter did not change. Oops, change. Okay. So now I want to skip part C, but I do want to talk about part D. It says summarize what you discovered in parts A through C above, even though we did A and B. That is, what can happen to the perimeter when the area of a shape is changed? So what could happen? Well, we know that even though the area changed, did the perimeter? No, for us it didn't, but sometimes it could. So our summary would be when the area is increased, sometimes the perimeter also increases. Other times, the perimeter might stay the same. Okay, that's why you just can't assume. You always have to check, just like we did in parts A and B there. Okay, we are now going to finish this lesson by looking at 243. Okay, 243, which, hang on, because you can't see it right now. 243 is an extension of what we did the other day when we had that figure and we had to break it up into different parts. So 243 says, find the area of each figure below in at least two ways. Note that in each figure, all the angles are right angles. Explain how you get your answers. Explore using the 243A Student E-Tool, 243B Student E-Tool. Use different colors to show finding the area in more than one way. So you are only doing the area here. I would like you to try A and B on your own, and then we are going to talk about it when you come back to class. So this is all that I have for you today in our lesson of 223. If you have any questions, please email me.